call to the member for Wills.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to speak on this private member's bill brought forward by the member for Farrer, the Live Sheep Long-Haul Export Prohibition Bill 2018. This is an issue that I and many of my constituents in Wills have been very passionate about, demonstrated through over 2,000 emails that I received from my constituents around the issue of live exports since the first footage was aired on the ABC earlier this year. And in my 2 years as member for Wills and here in the Parliament, few issues like this one have stirred such a passionate and sustained response from constituents. And like many of my constituents, I was appalled at what we saw in the footage of the live sheep trade. And I'd spent considerable time working, obviously, with other Labor colleagues on our position. And so it was really heartening to see when Labor made the announcement to end live export, a very good vindication of our ability as a party to get our policy right on this issue. While I'm by no means an expert in the policy area, having seen the footage over the past few years, I found it heart-wrenching. And I've been endeavouring since I was elected in 2016 to understand more particularly the policy direction of a phase-out of live sheep and export of live sheep, how that would work, how a transitional arrangement would work and what would it entail. And that's why I argued very strongly for an immediate end and complete ban of live sheep export over the coming northern summer months, during these northern summer months. Even as the overall review was underway and was being conducted by the government, it was important that that ban should have taken place immediately. And of course, in the longer term, an overall phase-out of all live sheep export within a timely manner. Both steps now are, of course, Labor policy. As we know, and I quoted this in the House previously, Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." And I think that's a pretty good yardstick for Australia, Deputy Speaker. This bill essentially does these two things, which are broadly consistent with what Labor has been calling for when it comes to dealing with live sheep exports to the Middle East. Now, despite many chances, the live sheep trade has been unable to demonstrate it is capable of meeting reasonable animal welfare standards. The Prime Minister said he wanted to take a science-based approach, but has chosen to ignore the advice of both the Australian Veterinary Association and the RSPCA. They both say categorically that live sheep cannot be transported to the Middle East during the northern summer period without suffering extreme heat stress. That's all too evident, and we've seen that. This is why Labor will put a halt to that summer trade and phase out the rest of the trade as quickly as is practically possible.